everybody. Welcome to Wellness 360's educational every Friday night at 7 o'clock. We'll be bringing new people, new topics, and new education because at Wellness 360, we believe that education is the first step in making any changes for your health and wellness. So today we are going to talk about food preparation, like food prepping. This is an area that I really struggle with. I have some knowledge, but I have a really hard time doing it. But we all know that when you've been diagnosed, or if you're trying for disease prevention, that healthy eating is a huge part of the wellness wheel. And to eat healthy, you can't just go to your fridge and grab something. It's not something that is easily accessible, which is why our junk food is so easy, because you can grab it off the shelf. It never expires. But junk food is going to lead to a junky body. It's going to lead to disease. It's going to lead to ailments, sickness, immune system problems, inflammation. So I brought on the expert, Tina. This is Tina from the Messy Kitchen Sisters, and she is absolutely phenomenal. She's a nutrition specialist, very dear friend of mine. I'm very excited to have her on. Tina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, well, I've given a talk at Wellness 360 before about chronic inflammation, so you may recognize me if you came to that class. I am 35, I have 3 kids, a baby who just turned 1, I have a 6-year-old and almost 8-year-old boy. I got my master's degree in nutrition. It just has kind of always been my interest. And yeah, now I love doing consultations with people. I do one-on-one consultations where we go through like a specific disease or issue, and we find a way together to be able to tackle it. I also run online groups for fitness and nutrition where we do workouts and stuff like that, but it's an accountability group and we all kind of motivate each other. So that's what I do. Working from home is great. It's challenging sometimes, but to like limit all the distractions, but it really is good because I get to help people, and that is 100% like my purpose is helping people get healthy. And I know Beth is the same way. It's helping people get healthy is like, that's our calling. So I love to be able to get on and do this with her and just educate you guys as much as I can, give you my best tips and tricks. That has helped a lot of folks lose some weight, get healthier, get more confident in their body, feel better, lower their symptoms of any chronic disease or illness. So here's my best tip. So we all know that knowledge is power, like Beth was saying. It all starts with education, it all starts with knowledge, but sometimes there's that big roadblock. You know all the stuff, you just don't know how to do it.
That's where I'm at. You know the stuff, it's just so hard to put it into action.
Right. You know what you should be doing at the grocery store. You know what everyone says, but you don't know how to like logistically put it into in your own life, with your own family, in your own kitchen, how to make these dinners, how to structure these dinners, how to, like, am I supposed to eat every 2 hours? Am I supposed to do intermittent fasting? What's keto about? There's just a lot of information out there. And so you kind of have to weed through the stuff and find out what works for you. So basic kind of tips is to start with meal planning. Before we even get to meal prepping, let's talk about meal planning. So for me, I have a family of 5 and they eat a lot of food. So when I make plans, I have to think about the quantity, how much I'm going to need, if I'm going to need, like, if I'm going to double the dinner recipe, because I know it's one of the ones that like my family loves, and then I can use that later for leftovers, or maybe I make a double batch and I freeze half for one of those nights that it's like order pizza, or this is already here and it costs no money. There are just things you kind of got to think about when you're making your meal plan. So my advice to you is sit down and take 10 minutes and make a meal plan. Nobody goes broke on purpose. Nobody gains weight on purpose. Nobody feels like garbage on purpose. It's all an accident. So take the time to make the plan so that it's not an accident. You don't get healthy on accident. You do it on purpose.
So how many days would you suggest people plan for? Like a weekend, a couple days, a week? What's your suggestion?
So what I do is one day during the week, I take about 10 minutes and I Google search a bunch of recipes. I know what kind of works for me, which meals I like, if I want them to have a carb or not, or I want them to be heavy veggie or not. And so I will take about 10 minutes and plan out for about 5 days of dinners.
Okay.
So I do 5 days. I leave one day for leftovers. And then one day is like a catch-all. It's not like a order pizza night. It's like maybe we do breakfast for dinner. It's like my
eat up in the fridge.
yeah, my spontaneous, or like we need to eat up this food. I found that with my family of 5, if I make full dinners for 7 days, we're wasting food. I'm not a food waster. That's not how I was brought up. You eat everything on your plate. Like, we don't waste food. So I do 5 days, and that seems to really help keep like the machine going and limit like the amount of food waste, because not only is that a waste just economically, but also financially, and it just, no, we don't.
In times like today with the coronavirus and not wanting to go to the grocery store, you got to get really inventive.
Right. You got to be resourceful with your food. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I do 5 days. For me, our breakfast, I usually have 2 options for breakfast. That helps. I will choose like eggs and spinach is something that I have. So sometimes I make like an egg bake. It's a big casserole that you can make on Sunday nights, put it in, the oven, and then portion it out, because eggs stay, if they're cooked, they stay for a good, 5 to 7 days without going bad. So you can make a huge thing of egg bake, throw veggies in there, all kinds of stuff, and even top it with just a little bit of cheese. I'm not saying a lot, but like a little bit of cheese goes a long way. And I send that with my husband to work. My kids will eat it. I'll eat it. I mean, it's a healthy breakfast that doesn't require a lot of cooking every single morning. Right. Another one that's great for that kind of feel is overnight oats. Very easy to make. Very easy to just warm up and be done, or you can eat them cold. I mean, you basically just throw a bunch of stuff in a jar and let it sit in the fridge. That's all you do.
My son loves pancakes, so I make banana pancakes and I freeze those with wax paper in between, and he toasts them in the morning, and it's just like getting a fresh pancake.
Done. Right, done. So anything that you can do to help your mornings. I mean, right now life's a little bit slower. But so if you're at home, this may look a little different, and you may not need all this extra time. But when we all do go back to work, or kids start going back to school, we need some quick options to do.
Healthy options.
And healthy options, exactly. And if you have to think about the way that the human brain kind of works. We always take the path with least resistance. So like, I don't want to work out, it's hard. Oh, so we don't, or I'll just do this, or I'll do this one because it's easier. I'll just go walk. I'm not saying walking's bad for you in any way, but if you have the mobility and the ability to do more, stop taking the path of least resistance. It's the same way with like junk food and going to McDonald's and stuff. I know it's easier. I know that McDonald's is easier. It doesn't make it best. So instead of taking the path of least resistance, make the healthy options easier.
Yeah, and a lot of our clients who have already been diagnosed, they're starting to realize that the inflammation, they've got to calm down their inflammation. Yeah. A lot of people are getting rid of gluten, and there's a whole new swing of lifestyle change that can be really overwhelming, because if you've lived a certain way, eating certain foods for 40, 50 years, and then all of a sudden your doctor says, hey, you have this new diagnosis, whether it's osteoporosis, Parkinson's, MS, whatever it is. And now all of a sudden you're in this field with all of these weeds because you have no idea what you're doing. You're giving up all of this stuff. And so, at Wellness 360, remember, you don't have to do everything at one time, but Tina's going to give tons of little tips. Take one step at a time. And if she has some phenomenal recipes that she sends. So leave your email address, PM us your email address, either Tina or myself. You can leave it below if you'd like. We'll put you on the email list, and any of these recipes she's talking about, I'm sure she sends out great newsletters. You can be tagged in those newsletters and get some great food prepping recipes. So just a little plug.
I do. Actually, the one that I was talking about, the egg bake, I just made last week. I just sent out to like my group, and that's going to be on our newsletter for this week is going to be the Southwest egg bake. And it's a pound of ground turkey, and you season it with taco seasoning, and then you throw some peppers, cut up peppers, veggies, a bag of spinach. It all like wilts down, so it's not like you're eating leaves. Once it cooks, it wilts down. And then you, it's like a jar of salsa, a dozen eggs, and just a little sprinkle of cheese on top, and you bake it, and it's good all week. Oh, and a can of black beans. So it's really good, and it's got lots of fiber in it, lots of vegetables. It's very tasty, especially if you like Mexican food. I don't know. We really liked it in our house. Everyone ate it. My 7-year-old, my 1-year-old, my husband, myself, all of us took that pretty much to the face.
That's awesome. And for all of my followers that are whole food plant-based, Tina's got some great recipes for that too. Tina's definitely one that works with you as an individual. So if whole food plant-based is your way, then she can make that happen too.
Yep. Because nutrition, I mean, when you get down to it, it's an opinion. No one wants to think that, but it's true. There are things that, you know, I don't think it's worth it to consume a lot of dairy. But if you're talking to a dietitian, they may say, well, no, dairy is a great protein source and it has calcium. And maybe this individual I'm working with, they don't eat eggs and they don't like meat and they don't like this or they don't like beans. Well, then how are they going to get protein? How are they going to get calcium if they don't eat spinach or broccoli? Or, you know, it just, it depends on the person.
Right.
If you have an issue with an inflammatory, if you have arthritis or anything like that, then dairy is not great for you. It's not worth the option. But if you're not someone that's struggling with inflammation, then maybe it's worth that one serving a day to have Greek yogurt. It just depends on the person. So nutrition is not a one size fits all. I know we want it to be, but it's not. And sometimes, you know, you need to really dive into what works for you. So with that being said, I'm going to dive in a little bit on how to make a meal plan.
Right.
You want to get as many vegetables in your diet, like regardless. This is the one blanket statement I'll make for everybody for nutrition. Eat as many vegetables as you can.
Yeah.
The reason why is because they're the most bang for your buck. They have the most nutrients, the most fiber, the most vitamins and minerals that your body craves and needs that usually we are deficient in some way, shape, or form in. So eat as many vegetables as you can. Anyways, so when you're making a meal plan, I want you to be reasonable. Be reasonable with you. If you're looking at your like meal plan that you made last week or that you ate last week, let's say you write it down and you look at it objectively. Don't start judging yourself or thinking like, oh, we had pizza twice like last week. Wow. Oh, I really suck. That's not going to help anybody and that doesn't serve you. So look at it objectively, like it's your neighbor, and see where you can make reasonable tweaks and you know, adjustments. If you drink soda all day long and you're like, you know what, it's time I cut that down. I really should cut that down. Start to think of ways, and Google has all the information. You just need to know how to apply it, and you need to actually apply it. So for example, if it's soda that you're struggling with, then maybe to cut that soda habit, you have, let's say you have 5, like, you know, what are those, 12 ounces or 16? I don't know what they are. You have 5 bottles a day, right? So let's say that you want to bring your 5 down to 3. How are you going to do that if you're used to constantly drinking? So maybe you switch it over to a cup that's got a straw and you dump a bunch of ice in there, and then that only holds like half of the bottle. So you're not only are you drinking less soda, but you're hydrating with water as well, and you're watering down your soda so that you can wean yourself off, so that eventually you're just drinking water, because that's your body's favorite drink is water. That's what we need the most. So it's just kind of creative ways. So look at your meal plan and be reasonable with yourself. Don't think that you're going to hit it over the park. You're going to do everything right. I mean, you can think that if you want to, but you may end up being disappointed 100%. So baby steps. So be reasonable with yourself and look objectively at what your issue really could be. So when you're making a reasonable meal plan, some things you may want to think about. Okay, do I eat vegetables? Do I like vegetables? What kind of vegetables don't I like? Okay, I don't like steamed vegetables. because they kind of taste like rubber. Okay, don't eat them. That's fine. You don't have to eat steamed vegetables. Raw vegetables are fine at dinner. You don't have to be like, you know, thinking like, oh, I can only have raw vegetables at lunch because that's a lunchtime thing. I can only have celery and peanut butter at lunch. There's no rules of when you can have foods and when you can't. So if steamed vegetables aren't for you, then cool, switch it out with some raw vegetables. I don't care how many times you're eating vegetables, if they're exactly the same or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just get vegetables in your body, however you need to do it, and then branch out from there once you're used to eating vegetables. Another way is, you know, look up different recipes for vegetables. It's not all steamed or canned. You know, roasted vegetables are delicious. You just throw them on a baking sheet, olive oil, 375 for 20 minutes, and they're bomb. Or air fryer, like they taste really good in an air fryer too. So there's different ways to cook vegetables, to add them in. If you're making tacos, for example, you're doing that taco meat, a great add-in that's super easy, it's fast, is a bag of frozen cauliflower rice. You throw it in with the meat, you season it all, roll it up in a taco or eat it on a salad. You don't even know you got an extra vegetable. Spaghetti squash, zucchini, there's so many ways out there to get your veggies in. You just have to know like where to look for it. So if you don't normally eat vegetables, be reasonable with yourself and don't say like, okay, I'm going to eat 17 vegetables today. That's completely unreasonable. Add in one for lunch, have a small salad, not a big salad. Your body can't absorb that many nutrients at one time. Bring it down to a appropriate portion, which is just a cup at a time. A cup at a time does the body good. So have a small portion at lunch and then have another portion at dinner. And then if you feel like, okay, I got that now, I got that, then expand. Maybe have some for a snack. Maybe throw some spinach in a protein shake. Maybe have some in your egg bake, whatever. But try to get veggies in every single time that you eat to increase that fiber and really help with digestion. For when you're doing a meal plan, like I said, be reasonable. The other thing is don't make it so hard on yourself. When you're grocery shopping or making your grocery list, you want to cut out all the work that comes with meal prepping. That's what really gets people down when they meal prep, is that it's too much work. It takes too long. It's my whole Sunday night. It doesn't have to be. I promise it doesn't. I can give you a meal prep like Sunday right now that would take you less than an hour, that would set you up for the whole week, just off the top of my head because I've been doing it for so long. So think smarter, not harder. Like for example, meal prepping, if you got a thing of chicken, breast, tenderloins, thighs, it doesn't matter. Throw them in your slow cooker and dump a jar of salsa on top and let it cook for 4 to 6 hours and then shred it up. You can use a hand mixer. I don't know if anyone knows that yet, but that's a really big like time saver. Instead of forks to shred, hand mixer, boom, shreds it right up as soon as it's done cooking. You can use that in so many different recipes. You can have a taco salad. You can have burritos. You can do all kinds of things with it. You can have it on nachos if you want to. I mean, you know, it's endless. What you can do with the salsa chicken, or you can just eat it by itself. What you want to do with your veggies for your snacks and fruits for your snacks is you want to grab things at the grocery store. Like, think about it. Okay, what is going to take longer for you to prep out? Pineapples or apples? Apples or pineapples is going to take longer to prep, right? So if you don't want to spend all that time in your kitchen, then get something that's easy to quick grab. So my favorite ones for quick veggies are mini peppers, mini cucumbers, and baby carrots. I don't have all the time to be cutting up veggies. These make it really easy to just, I go to the grocery store, I put them on my counter, I wash them. I don't even put them in the fridge. And I get out Ziploc bags or little Tupperwares, and I take a handful of each and I pre-portion them out into plastic bags or like little Tupperwares. And then I put them in the fridge, like in the veggie drawer. There's like bags on bags on bags.
That's what I do. And I did find a tip that I did not know until just recently, that if you cut the seeds out of cucumbers, they last forever.
Really?
Yeah, if you just pull the seeds right out, like I make them look like little French fry fingers or celery sticks, and you just pull the seeds out of them, they last up to over a week in the fridge cut up like that.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found that out just a few months ago, and I've been doing it, and it works.
Well, thank you for that. I'll take that, put that
You.
in my pocket. I appreciate it. But yeah, so the quick cut veggies or even fruits that you can just grab and walk out of the house, or eat in the car on the way to work, or whatever, those really help a lot to cut down the time. And also it's like, it's right there. Just grab it and go. It keeps you from stopping and getting, fast food, or like, stopping at the gas station because you want a snack. It's already there. It's already portioned out. And you feel like, if I don't eat it, then not only did I waste the food, but I wasted the time that I took to wash these off and portion them out and all that stuff. So apples, those mini clementine oranges are great. Even berries, like blueberries, you can throw those, you can take the whole pint and eat it and in the car, and that's it. You don't have to do anything with it. So just make it easier on yourself instead of trying to be like the rock star that I made a fruit salad and I cut up all these grapes and all this fruits and blah, 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 blah. And the pineapple took me forever. And it's just like, it's not sustainable to do that much work every single Sunday night or whenever you're going to meal prep.
Right.
So keep it simple. Also, another great one is to get single serve dressings, hummus, or like if you eat peanut butter or almond butter, they have single serves of those. So you can cut up celery stalks, you can cut up at one time, like the whole bunch. If you get a big knife, you can cut them all up at once and then bag them up, and you've got that single serve of almond butter or peanut butter that goes great. You've got a fiber and a fat, and that's wonderful for digestion. It's a great afternoon snack, keeps you going. And then, like the single serves of hummus that they have, it's great for veggies. Just grab those. Otherwise, you've got to buy the whole thing, and then you got to take a spoon and you got to put it in and and you have to, do 5 or 6
It's
of those.
the portion control too, because
Right,
I
time
down,
consuming.
whole container of hummus without a bat of an eye.
Right. I will sit there, no problem, and eat the whole bag of veggies with the hummus. It really, at that point in time, it's like the veggies are really just a spoon to get the hummus into my mouth.
To get the hummus to your mouth.
That's really all it's for. So yeah, it keeps you on portion control. And I know it's a little more expensive, but sometimes it's worth it if it really saves you all that time. So that's what I found that's worth it for me. For meal prepping is I buy the single servings of the peanut butter and the hummus to kind of just cut down on that time. Another thing, I'm kind of bouncing around, so I apologize if it's a little confusing.
It's good
but like another thing that I do, and I've found that this works not just for me, but for a lot of my challengers and boot campers and people that I do consultations with, is that when you're making dinner, you're already in the kitchen, right? Like you're already there. So maybe you make 2 dinners at one time, and that's how you meal prep. Maybe you make 1 big dinner on Sundays, and that's how you meal prep. It's up to you how you do it. But for me, I do on Sundays while I'm cooking dinner, I'm cooking the meal prep that I'm making. So I'm in the kitchen for the same amount of time. It's just a slightly bigger mess, but I'm not taking any more time away from my family and away from like my free time that I would be if I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go spend 2 hours meal prepping. I want to do it all together at one time, so it's not infringing on like other things.
Yeah.
So I do that. If that's not for you, if you don't want to meal prep at all, like you don't want to make an extra thing, that's fine. But at dinner on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then you've got to double the recipe or make more so that you have enough for leftovers for that day. Some people don't think about that, and then they're like, oh no, I don't have anything for lunch because we ate all of our dinner and now I'm in trouble. So kind of be thinking about that when you're making your meal plan or you're prepping. The other thing for another tip for meal prepping is hard-boiled eggs are great. You can make them in an air fryer, you can make them in the oven, you can boil them on the stove, however you want to make them, you can do them. But 2 of those on the go is a really great protein source, and just helps kind of curb some snacky feels. The other one is if you get like a huge family size thing of ground turkey, like 5 pounds or something like that, you can make it all. You can cook it all with no seasoning on it, and then portion it out in bags and throw them in the freezer so that they're ready for you. Yeah, if it's like, ooh, I don't have anything to make, I didn't buy anything, I've got a can of black beans and some tortillas, that's all I've got. Oh, I've got turkey. Yes, done. And so then all of a sudden you've got a meal thrown together and you don't have to spend $40 on, you know, pizza or God forbid, you know, fast food or Wendy's or whatever. So for meal prepping, it's not too hard. Just stay simple and go with baby steps. You can get containers if you want to get real fancy. You can get those containers that you know, they're like black with a clear lid. You get them at Wegmans, or you can get them in Amazon or whatever. And those make it really easy to meal prep out perfect portions and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, I have them. We use them. They're great. But are they necessary? No. You can use any Tupperware you have. I just think it looks really pretty when I have them on my counter and they're all perfectly done.
They look very pretty. They're just those on our website too. It's very inspirational.
So when you're making your grocery list, so I'm going to move on from meal prepping and meal planning. When you're making your grocery list, you want to take an inventory of what you have in your house. So let's say you're doing it on the fly and you're like, oh, I got to stop after work. Take a picture of your cupboard and your fridge and your freezer, boom, and then go. Make your list. Maybe you're doing it like dictating it on your phone, however, but do not go into a grocery store without a grocery list. Grocery stores, and I've talked about this, I mean, a million times, but grocery stores do not care about your health and wellness. They want to get your money. I mean, it's true, like Doritos and Cheerios, they pay high money for spots on end caps, on eye level shelving. It's all about what's attractive, what can get your instant gratification, you know, thing to kick in. And you'd be like, you know what? I do need Doritos. And I do need Oreos. You're right. Double stuff all the way. Like, they are marketing to you to get you to buy. Like, they are trying for all that. So you have to be smarter than the marketer. So don't go in without a grocery list. You will spend more money. And also, the more times you go in the grocery store, the more money you spend, the more instant gratification, the more junk food you pick up that you don't really need. So not only do you bring these foods in your house that aren't going to serve you, but now you're going over on your food budget as well, which is a huge thing people waste money on, is food. So never go in a grocery store without a grocery list. If you can avoid going to a grocery store at all, then do it, especially right now. But like, yes. Even in normal life, stay out of the store, because you don't, when you're ordering on Walmart.com or through Instacart, you don't see those marketing things that they're trying to get you to see. You remove them completely. And so then you really do stick to your budget, and you really do stick to your list. And then all of a sudden you really do stick to your diet and your healthy fruits and veggies, and you don't get those extra, like, oh, we should have ice cream. You know, you don't get all that extra information coming into your brain, because you can't have self-discipline all the time. Like, yes, you can be really great with self-discipline. It's like a muscle, you got to work it and everything like that, but you can't fight it off all the time. So if you're in the store every 2 days or 3 days, you're not even giving yourself a chance. So make a big list, go get it once a week, stay out of the stores if you can, but definitely don't go in without a grocery list. Now, when you get into the grocery store, everyone says shop the perimeter, because that's where the coolers are, that's where the trucks pull up and they load everything in. But that's not always true, because if you go to Wegmans, the bakery is on the perimeter, because again, that's where a truck delivers. But the bakery is not great for you, so you know what I mean? So you kind of gotta think about it. Now, food gets preserved in a couple different ways. It either gets preserved with temperature or it gets preserved with chemicals. Not necessarily, not chemicals, sodium, salt, sugar, that kind of thing. Like
additive.
Right, the additive. So because food is supposed to mold, right? Like, that's what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to go bad eventually. And they have to preserve it in some way, shape, or form, because as the marketer, as the person that's selling this, they want to make the most money as possible. They don't want any of their food to go to waste. So how are they going to do that? They have to preserve it some way, somehow. So go to the areas that are temperature controlled. Your refrigerator section that has all your fruits and veggies, that's usually temperature controlled. There's some stuff that maybe doesn't have to be, like bananas and oranges and stuff like that. That's okay. but that's all in the same section. And then you want to go hang out in the frozen area. Not everything in the frozen area is great for you, but your veggies, the broccoli in the 99-cent bag, that's just as good for you as a head of broccoli that's $4. So if you're really trying to be budget conscious, go for the frozen broccoli, the frozen cauliflower rice. It takes out a lot of time from having to like make cauliflower. If you've never made cauliflower rice, it's
exhausting.
It takes forever.
And it's messy and it's
messy. Right, exactly. It's messy. You have to use a food processor, or you're trying to cut it up yourself. It's terrible. Just buy it frozen in a bag and use it like that. It's cheaper and easier and cleaner. So check out those forms of vegetables. Zucchini doesn't freeze very well. So zucchini, you probably got to get fresh. Cucumbers, you got to get fresh. But stuff you're going to make for dinner, or stuff you're going to roast, something you're going to cook, get it frozen. And then you don't have to worry about it going bad in your fridge or you not using it. If you decide not to make that dinner that week, no big deal. You can add it on your meal plan next week because you've got all the ingredients for it. So work off of a list. Like I said, plan out reasonable dinners. Maybe you are a taco, burger, pizza, Italian. Maybe that's what your week looks like. And then I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Whatever. Maybe that's what your week looks like. Okay. So instead of like changing everything and being like, I'm going to get fancy, I'm going to make I'm going to make a huge pot of vegan soup, and it's going to have all these vegetables in it. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. Okay. First off, you're swinging for the fences, and it's a lot of work, especially if you're not used to this. So I want you to take your normal week and add things in. Add in the vegetables, add in the whatever. And then next week, take from it. So like if it's tacos, pizza, burgers, and what else did I say? Tacos, pizza, burgers, and something else? Italian. Okay, so those are your 4 things. So maybe for taco night, you add in the cauliflower rice, like I told you, with your ground turkey. Add that in. Now you just got an extra veggie. Maybe you throw some lettuce on top of those tacos, as well as, maybe you've got sour cream or whatever, and that's probably not a great choice. All right. But that's what you have for your tacos. And then next week, take the sour cream, replace it with Greek yogurt. And then the next week after that, add avocado in and take the Greek yogurt. Just go one baby step at a time to where then now you're at like this beautifully done, super healthy way of making tacos. And if you even want to go further than that, then it's taco salad night. That's okay too. But it's all baby steps. So add the cauliflower rice in. That's that for tacos. If burgers are your thing, go from red meat, go to ground turkey. And then the week after that, maybe you take the bun out of there and you throw it on half a bun. Or the next week after that, maybe take the whole bun and you throw it on lettuce, and then you serve it instead of serving it with fries. Maybe you make like
sticks or
right, exactly. Right, roasted veggies, roasted broccoli, asparagus, any of that stuff. And so then maybe we get to pizza night. You normally order out pizza. That's like $40. You can go to the store. You can get gluten-free wraps. You can get naans. You can get all other options for a healthier pizza than ordering pizza. So maybe you make them yourself. You make your own pizza station with a side salad. And then the week after that, maybe you don't do like a pizza. Maybe it's like a spaghetti squash with pizza toppings on top. I mean, like that gets really crazy, but maybe you start adding, I don't know, maybe you cut up some extra veggies and throw extra veggies on top, and you saute some spinach and some onions and some mushrooms and put that on top. Maybe you're only used to like sausage, bacon, and pepperoni on your pizza. Maybe now you're going to switch a little bit and add mushrooms too, and then onions, and then spinach. And then now you've got basically veggies on a pizza, but it doesn't all happen at once. You got to kind of condition your taste buds to do that thing. And then, maybe Italian night, instead of heavy pasta, one of my favorite recipes is 1-pan lasagna. It's amazing. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. It's amazing. Get whatever meat you want. If it's ground sausage, then fine. I want you to move to turkey sausage or chicken sausage or ground turkey, whatever. But if it's sausage, fine. Cook it up, drain the fat off, okay? Then you pour your spaghetti sauce in, and then it's 1 cup of cottage cheese to give the cheese taste from like ricotta, but cottage cheese is usually a little bit better for you than ricotta. You throw that in, and it's not much, and then do a 90-second packet of brown rice. It's better for you than pasta. It's that Durham wheat flour, that stuff, not great for your body. So maybe switch it with brown rice, put it all in. It's in one pan. You have one dish to do. It's great. And you mix it all together. You put a little Parmesan cheese on top. It is bomb.com. Maybe that's your Italian night instead of a huge thing of pasta and meatballs. Maybe it's pasta and meatballs, but you portion it to be smaller and you pair it with a side salad. And then maybe you try this one pan lasagna one time and throw some, veggies on the side, or even mix in some cauliflower rice. I swear you won't taste it. But there's
love the veggie noodles. And they at Wegmans,
right.
They already have them made.
Yep, you can just buy them already spiralized. Exactly. Yeah. It's perfect. So you don't have to do a complete overhaul. You just have to do some adjusting of what you've already got, because that's what your taste buds are conditioned for. If you do a complete overhaul, you're gonna be like, this is disgusting. Go with what you already like.
And you're gonna fail.
Right. And and that's not the point. We don't want you to fail. So it's not that, you just don't know what to do. You probably just don't know how to get there. And it's all these baby steps that are in between that you're going to add and take and add and take. It's like a dance. It's like you take one step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forwards, 1 step back, and then eventually you learn the dance.
Even out, your taste buds will change. Your taste buds are shedding constantly.
Right.
So your taste buds change. For me, when I was starting to eat healthier, I chose one veggie a week. Mm-hmm. And I researched the heck out of that one veggie. So I started with zucchini, and I found all these recipes to use with zucchini because I don't know how I like it. And now I love zucchini. And then I went to cauliflower, just trying different recipes of how to put in. Some of them were horrible and some of them were great, but that's okay. You live and you learn.
Right. You learn new things. And that's great for like budgeting too, is if you're only adding in one extra one, it's not like maybe you're going from not eating veggies at all, and now you're walking into the produce department and you're like, I'm just gonna buy everything. I don't know, I'm just gonna buy one of everything. I don't know how to use this.
What the heck is this?
Right. I don't know. What do I do with eggplant? Don't get crazy yet. You don't have to go to eggplant. Stick with the stuff. Broccoli is fine. Asparagus, maybe you're an asparagus fan, maybe not. Carrots, celery, all that stuff you're normally used to is okay. You just probably have to eat it more than what you're eating now. I mean, an adult should have veggies basically every time they sit down to eat to get in enough veggies. So you should have one at breakfast, one at snack, one at dinner, one at snack, one at lunch, one at snack, one at dinner. So that's, 5 times that you're eating vegetables. Now you can like double up at dinner and have a roasted veggie and a side salad and a grilled chicken breast. Boom, your dinner's done. And you didn't have to have one at breakfast. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe snack after breakfast is a protein shake and you put a handful of spinach in there. You don't even know what's in there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good to go and done. And that's your extra veggie serving, and you got it in without noticing it. So there's lots of ways to hide veggies in. But just, kind of think about it that you should be having veggies more than you probably know, and more than you probably are having now. So every time you sit down to eat, you should have a big thing of water. And you should have a vegetable in some way, shape, or form, unless you're going to push it to later on in the day. But yeah, every time you sit down to eat is really a good rule of thumb for veggies.
So Tina, we have about 10 minutes left. So what is the most important thing that or maybe do a short little recap, but what is the most important thing for someone like myself who does not meal prep? Like, what would be your number one step of, this is the most important thing to start this week?
Oh man, you put me right on the spot.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Number one person who doesn't meal prep at all?
I'm the type of person when my husband comes home from work, or, now that he's working night shift, he wakes up and he'll say, what's for dinner? And I'll say, oh, I don't know. I'll go to the freezer and I'll start moving around. And I do really, really, really well, but I'm like the one that takes all day Sunday to meal prep, and that's why I fail.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly
I'm learning a ton today too. I eat healthy things. I don't prep them often. And I am the type of person that I'm like, I'm really hungry. There's nothing to grab. So I'm just going to skip it.
Or just pick the fastest thing.
Or I'm going to grab something off of my shelf.
Right.
So, So I've got myself to the point where I have veggies available, but as far as meal prepping, what do you think is the most important thing to start with?
So, okay, so if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. There's no way around it. You cannot wait until you're hungry to make the best decision. Your body's going to tell you something different than your head does.
Not to mention you're eating healthy. There's time involved in that.
Right, right. So I think if you can just meal plan out 5 dinners, Monday through Friday, sit down and pick the 5. Then when you go to the grocery store, you've got those ingredients. So now when Tuesday rolls around and you're like, and he says, what's for dinner? It's like, oh, wait, let me check real quick. It's in your phone, right? Okay, maybe you made a list in your phone. You're like, I got these 4, I have ingredients for these 5 items. Which one do I feel like tonight? And that's the one you choose. You have all the ingredients. You don't have to go back in the store. It's already, like it's in your house. It's something you like. I mean, that's really probably the one that works the best. The tip that works the best is to just meal plan out.
Have the ingredients.
Have the ingredients so that it's the path of least resistance, is the healthiest, most financially sound one. It's already there. You don't have to go find it. You don't have to go buy fast food. You're not eating junk. It's there. Might as well just make it. That you've turned it now from being all this work to being this one is the path of least resistance. So,
and one question I definitely had that I wanted to touch base on is, what is the normal shelf life for in the refrigerator for your meal prepping? So would you say 3 to 5 days? Would you say, because if you're making
chicken, so I usually will meal prep one meal on Sunday. It's not huge. Like I said, the salsa crock pot, that chicken, 3 days. You've got 3 days to cook and toss
kind of person. So
right. So it depends on the berries. Like once you wash the berries, they seem to go bad quickly, or quicker, not quickly, but like quicker. So I don't prep out like the blueberries. I leave them in the pint until I'm about to eat them today or tomorrow, and then I will bag those out for Ryan, really, because I'm home. But I just leave them in the pint for me unwashed. And then I'll but that's berries. Carrots, no problem. They last the whole week. You can do that at the beginning of the week. They're fine. Cucumbers, the baby cucumbers, don't cut them up. Just leave them and put them in a bag, put them with hummus. They're together. They're ready to go. Don't cut those up because cucumbers get slimy if you prep those too early. Or like you said, if you get a big cucumber, take the seeds out. Yeah, then those can probably last longer than a couple of days.
I find now when I make my salads, because I'm a big salad eater, if I make a big thing, a container of salad, I cut up all my veggies, have everything in there. If you layer the container with paper towels.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah, the salad lasts a lot longer if you layer it with paper towels.
Right, and another trick is, the big plastic box of salad mixed greens. Take 2 paper towels, stick it in, and then flip it upside down. If you don't make a salad, flip it upside down, and then all the moisture comes down. If you don't have a salad spinner or something like that, all the moisture comes down into the paper towel. It lasts a lot longer.
That's awesome. That's a great tip. Well, I just wanted to say, if you have any questions for myself or for Tina, you can throw the question below in the comment section. We will get back to you just as soon as possible with the answers to these questions. If you're interested in being on Tina's newsletter with all of her great tips, with all of her great recipes, you can PM one of us, Wellness 360 or Tina personally, your email address, and we'll get you on the list. We have a lot of great things coming up. And again, thank you so much for joining us, Tina.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Talk about food all day.
I know. When I called her, I'm like, this is perfect, because we are the type that will go to our company Christmas party and we're talking food prep. We're talking we're talking food, we're talking diet. So she's definitely got a ton of answers. Again, no matter what your eating style, whether you eat whole food, plant-based, or whatever it is that you eat, she can work with you individual. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
We'll be hearing from Tina again soon.
Sounds good.